I'm back at the hospital for my 3-week follow-ups and scans, and it got me thinking about how do we move on after a trauma or a time of struggle? How do we close the door and put it behind us? Well, there are really 3 steps. The first is about symbolically moving on, getting that fresh start. Research actually shows that some kind of symbolic fresh start is as psychologically good for us as really starting over. You know how good it feels when you start over with a clean slate? Well, anything you can symbolically do to close the door on that time of struggle helps you psychologically move on. So for me, I got a haircut, and actually just even being able to do my hair makes me not feel like a patient anymore, and that's a great feeling. Then, once I get out of the hospital tomorrow, I'm going to take all of these medical files that I'm not going to need anymore, and I'm going to put them away. They've been out where I can access them for the past several weeks, but I can put them back in the drawer and lock them up because I don't need them anymore. That's my symbolic fresh start. Give yourself some kind of fresh start. The second thing you want to do is reframe your thoughts. When you've been through a time of struggle, you're not going to be able to keep yourself from thinking about it, but you don't need to keep it at the forefront of your mind any longer. That's going to keep you from moving on. So be sure that when you catch yourself obsessively thinking about it, and that is natural because you've had to obsessively think about it while you were in this time of struggle, but you don't have to anymore. So when you catch yourself thinking about it, just remind yourself, that is not important for me to think about right now. I'm done with that. And try and think about something else. Don't have that obsessive rumination. There was a great quote in a book that I read that said, when you're still living in an emotional, war-torn area, you can't move on, right? So put those thoughts out of your mind. It's natural to have them. Don't beat yourself up for having them. But don't linger on them for too long because you don't need to anymore. It's over. It's done. And finally, you need to embrace your new normal. That just means that you're not going to go back to the way you were before. Whatever you've gone through, whether it's a new job or a divorce. I know when I went through a divorce, I kept thinking, well, any minute now, I'm just going to feel back to normal. But I never did, because life comes a new normal. You get a new normal, not the same. So don't expect to go back. If that's what you're waiting for, you're going to be waiting a long time. So embrace your new normal. It may not happen right away. It may take weeks or months to settle in. But if you follow the first 2 steps, then you'll get to your new normal. And after a while, it'll just be normal. So those are the 3 things you can do after a time of stress or struggle in your life to move on, close the door, and move past it. Starting tomorrow, as soon as I get this IV out of my arm and check out of the hospital, that's what I'm going to do. And I know that you can do it too.